All right, let me take a different approach because apparently yesterday the video I made where I was talking about the dream teams and I told you guys that I think it's a stupid question. I'm gonna appease you guys this time, okay? Realistically, I don't give a fuck what Optic does, but I'm gonna appease you guys. So let's go down this path. This is what Optic's gonna need to do. Okay, you have 4 players. You have Hayes. I guess he's gonna be a temporary stand-in as he wanted to be a coach, and now he's filling in. But like, I don't know what they want to do. I don't know if they want to continue with him. So ideally, is everyone's thinking right now? Okay, Optic. They just lost their in-game leader. They need a new in-game leader. So first, everyone is thinking currently they need a new in-game leader. This is the first thing that's on their mind. We need an in-game leader. So everyone's just like, well, who are they going to get as an in-game leader? Well, you can't just approach the situation like it's like completely black or white. It's like, oh, they need an in-game leader, and that's it. When they were playing with Stanislaw, they had some form of success, but the team wasn't perfect. And we can see an example of the team not being perfect because they took a really long time to get to that point, and then they were never like at that point for a long time. And Stanislaw left the team, and it was reported that Stanislaw tried to get like a couple of players to leave the team with him. So right there might be some underlying issues within the team. There could be something like some players don't get along. Maybe one player's toxic. Maybe another person doesn't communicate well. Maybe another person is too egotistical. Without knowing what happens within the team, what happens during practices, what happens during matches, what happens like how their approach to the game is, how they, I guess, delegate the roles and figure out what, how much time they should spend on everything. Without knowing all of these things, it's impossible to say what you can do to fix the team. Because even if you give them the world's best in-game leader, let's say we give them Fallen, that might not solve the team's issues. The team might still have issues. So yes, they do need an in-game leader right now, but that might not be the solution to the issue. Maybe they need to get rid of a player and pick up a package deal. That's first and foremost. Secondly, you have to look at, okay, who would be available? If you're just going to straight replace Jason with someone else who's going to come in and fill the in-game leader role, who are you going to get? Are there any teamless in-game leaders currently? If no, okay, so you're going to have to go after someone who's contracted. What players that are contracted could you either buy out, or they're having their contracts expire soon and they want to leave their team, or maybe you go and approach at like a premier level caller. Well, if you go for the premier level caller, maybe they're not good enough for Pro League. Maybe they just don't have the experience. Maybe they don't have a good read on the game yet. Maybe they don't know how to approach practice, and they're in Premier for a reason. They haven't made it to Pro League for a reason, and they need time to develop as players. If you go after a contracted player who you're going to need to buy out, you have to go through this massive process of kind of talking to people and approaching that situation, which is very delicate in itself. Approaching players that are contracted teams is a very risky process. Like it's not something you could just be like, hey man, you looking to leave your team? No, the organization has to talk to the other organization, talk about like a potential buyout, and then talk to the players and see if everyone's happy with everything involved. It's a very long, complicated process. You can't just do it on a whim. And if another player wants to leave his team and he knows his contract expiring soon, in that case they can approach Optic, but we don't know who's going to be having their contract expiring soon. We have no idea who can do that. So to think about who can come in as just an in-game leader and ignoring everything else that's happening, we don't even know who the options would be. And then you have to add on all the complications to it. There's no way to just be like, oh yeah, there's a perfect fit here. So my answer to your question of who should Optic get as a fifth or an in-game leader is, I don't know and I don't care. But that's not good enough, apparently. So I have to go and explain why I don't care, because it's that there's too many things to talk about, too many variables that I would personally think about. Maybe to someone else, they don't think about all these other factors that go into picking up a new player, but that's something that goes on in my mind. If you ask me a question about a roster situation or a team situation, I immediately start accounting for all these different variables and factors, and I don't have the information, therefore I cannot make an educated opinion on it. I can't say this is a good move because I don't know. Without having all the other variables, I don't know. So for me to tell you, oh, this player is like a perfect fit for them would be disingenuous, and it's not something I'm going to do. So I don't give a fuck. And if you don't like that, then I don't know what to say. That's it. Peace.